Hey, shalom everyone, this is Chris Shoemaker, also known as Yehuda Ben Shomer, and welcome to the Daily Drosh. Now, most of us know what the golden rule is. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Or put another way, whatever is offensive to you, don't do to somebody else. That's another way it's been put. And we know that the greatest commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And Yeshua said that there's a second commandment which is equal to the first, and that's love your neighbor as yourself. So how can we love our neighbor? I'm going to tell you one way we can love our neighbor. It's found in Romans chapter 14, verse 13, and I'm going to be reading from the Tree of Life version. Therefore, let us not judge one another from now on, but rather decide this, not to put a stumbling block or a trap in the way of a brother. So one of the greatest ways that we can love our neighbor and love the other person is sometimes not doing what we want to do. You know, we're all about three people, me, myself, and I, right? You know, look out for number one first, right? Priority. But to have true joy and to truly love others, we've got to put others before ourselves. I've said before that joy, there's an acronym for joy. Jesus, others, you. You put Yeshua first, you put others next, and then you put yourself last. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do without or let people walk all over you and take advantage of you. That's not what I'm saying at all. But sometimes we want to do things. And if we do those things because we have the liberty and we have the freedom and we're not convicted by certain things, you know, if we do them, we might offend somebody else or we might cause someone else to stumble. Let me give you a perfect example. I was raised in the Free Will Baptist denomination, and they're called Free Willers, of course, but they're also called teetotalers. Do you know what a teetotaler is? A teetotaler is somebody who totally abstains from alcohol. The way they interpret and view the scriptures is that alcohol is bad, period. And when the Free Will Baptists came up with their bylaws, it happened during the years of the Prohibition. So it was a very popular view to be abstinent from alcohol. But once I got older and started questioning Free Will Baptist doctrine and Christian worldviews, I said to myself, give me the chapter and verse where it says that alcohol is a sin. And I looked up the different words for wine and alcohol, and there's ayin and there's tirosh, and one means alcoholic, one means not, and all this kind of stuff. But basically I searched the Bible cover to cover, and I couldn't find anything against alcohol. But I found a lot of verses against drunkenness. So I came to the conclusion that it's not a sin to drink, but it's a sin to get drunk. So in other words, know your limits. So for me, I've never been drunk in my entire life. And I started, drinking alcoholic beverages like way into my mid-20s. And so I usually have one occasionally when I'm having a really good meal, or, at a barbecue, or, maybe if me and the guys get together and watch some MMA and have some pizza and snacks, I might have a beer. But, I've never, ever been drunk. But I have a lot of friends that are Free Will Baptist. I have a lot of friends that are teetotalers. I have a lot of friends who are totally abstinent from alcohol. They take that stance and view, and that's their conviction and belief. I even have a lot of friends who were former alcoholics. So I know that even though I myself am not convicted of it, and I myself have the right to have a drink anytime that I want, if I truly love my brother, and I know that alcohol offends my brother, or that me drinking alcohol in front of somebody else would cause somebody to question my faith or my relationship with God, or my salvation, or it would cause somebody else to be tempted to go out and drink and therefore fall off the wagon and fall back into alcoholism, that would be the most selfish and unloving thing that I could do, is have a drink in front of them, no matter how bad I wanted one. But to truly love my neighbor as myself, and I knew that was their view or their stance, or they had a vice in regards to alcohol, and I had the opportunity to have some in front of them, I would say, no way. Rav Shaul said this about eating meat. He says, if eating meat offends my brother, I will never eat meat again, implying that in their presence, I'll never eat meat in their presence because it offends them. Because back then it was a big deal where your meat came from. Did it come from the marketplace? If so, did it come from a pagan? And possibly that meat was, before it was sold in the market, was sacrificed to an idol, and people had a problem with that. So let me just read that verse one more time. It says, therefore let us not judge one another, but from now on, but rather decide this, not to put a stumbling block or a trap in the way of your brother. So the most loving thing you can do for somebody else is sometimes not doing what you want to do. Guys, have a great day, and go out there and love your neighbor, and don't put a stumbling block in front of them. Shalom, Shavua Tov. Thanks for watching. Stay connected by subscribing to our other social media accounts and visiting our website at abrahamsdescendants.com.